r/AskReddit by Reddit. Serious, what's the creepiest/scariest thing you've seen but no one believes you? Didn't see it but heard it. My friends and I got a cheap set of walkie-talkies from Walmart and were playing around with them in the middle of the day. There's a bit of silence as we are trying to figure out the volume, and out of nowhere there's a male voice saying "Mayday, Mayday, Mayday" that comes through all of our walkie-talkies, and it definitely sounds like it from one of those aircraft headsets. We try to answer back, but there's no response. I called non-emergency, but they said there weren't any reports of distressed aircraft or ships, and even if there were, they couldn't do anything about it. Alternatively, a couple months later I saw a plane with an engine on fire go over my campus, but apparently no one else did. Growing up, I had a friend named Adam. He was never able to come out during the day, only right before all of us kids had to go home for the evening. Adam lived a few houses over, in a house with an overgrown yard. I met his parents once. They were very strange, didn't smile, and obviously didn't want me there. I remember Adam telling me that he was sick, that's why he couldn't play that much. He was a small boy, pale with dark hair. Eventually, Adam stopped showing up altogether, and I eventually moved on, though I do remember going to his house a couple times to see if he could come play, and his dad just gave me this look before closing the door in my face. Later in life, I asked my sister if she remembered him. She doesn't, and according to my parents, that house was empty the entire time we lived there. I don't know who Adam was, I don't know why I so vividly remember him and his parents. As far as I can tell, he wasn't real, and yet I have perfect memories of him and his parents. When I was 7 or 8, I would have a reoccurring nightmare that one of my dolls came to life, played with me, and then would try to pull me into my closet with her. I'd follow her into the closet at first, but then she'd show me this little door at the back of the closet, and my heart would start to race. I don't know what it was about that door, but I knew something bad would happen if I went through it. I'd start to struggle and try to pull away, but the doll was too strong and would start pulling me through the door. At this point in the dream, I'd always wake up screaming. The worst part was I had night terrors, so sometimes I'd wake up standing next to my closet. Every night before bed, I'd make my parents make sure there wasn't a little door at the back of my closet. There never was. Anyway, I was talking to my mom the other day and this dream came up. I'm laughing about it and how ridiculously paranoid I was about dolls in that closet, but my mom gets really quiet. She tells me the creepy part of that dream wasn't the doll, it was the fact that there used to be a little door at the back of the closet, but when I was 1 year old, they remodeled the house and put a wall where the door used to be. There's no way I could have remembered that door, but years later, I kept dreaming about it. None of my friends believe this story, but I swear it's true. Creepy. Did your mom say where the door led to? Was there anything behind it? Yeah, it led into crawl space / part of our attic. Apparently it was really creepy and full of splinters. Yeah, splinters and demons. Alright, buckle in. My neighbor was dying of a heart condition about 6 years ago. He knew he was, so he was giving away his valuables to people he trusted with them. Neighbor gave me his tackle box. He loved to fish. I would see him come home from fishing every day and he'd just sit on his porch and skin fish. I just put the tackle box in my closet and didn't really do anything with it since I don't fish. Anyways, soon after, he passed away in his home. Exactly a week after that, I woke up to the tackle box at the foot of my bed. Weird, but my stepdad likes to mess around. Figured it was him, so I put it back. The next morning, I wake up, it's at the foot of my bed again. So, I asked my stepdad what the deal was, and he had no idea what I was talking about. To test this, I put the tackle box in a spot that he wouldn't find, nor would he attempt to get it. Under my bed, all the way in the back against the wall, and I put stuff in front of it to conceal it. Next morning, nothing. Okay, I guess it was him. Didn't give it much thought after that. 3 days pass. I wake up one morning and there it is, at the foot of my bed. Fuck. Now I'm starting to freak out. So I did what any rational person would, and I went fishing with it. After I went fishing, I put the tackle box away, and it hasn't moved since then. It's still there. About 8 years ago now, I was taking a drive out to Kansas from the East Coast. I was with a friend and we were going out to see her grandparents. Once we were about 2 hours from the grandparents' house, my friend starts outlining standard operating procedures of seeing things in and around her family's home. She seemed a bit panicky when going over everything, but I managed to calm her down. I'm skeptical of everything and assured her that the things she had seen when she was a small child were just manufactured in her imagination. She insisted that the entire family had seen these things with the exception of her grandparents. 2 hours later, we arrive in Kansas, and I'm ready to fall over because of the length of time the last leg of the trip took. We are welcomed, and grandmother takes me to a back bedroom, and just as she about to close the door, she stops, says maybe you shouldn't stay in this room, and escorts me to another room. Okay, that was a little strange, but whatever, I'm tired. Fast forward to night #2 at the grandparents' home. It's around 11 PM and my friend has crashed out on the couch watching TV. I'm in an adjacent bedroom from which I can see her laying on the couch. I nod off for the night and wake up to a old grey man that bared a resemblance to the grandfather, but was not the grandfather, standing with his back to me in the doorway looking at my friend sleeping on the couch. I decided I was going to get up and confront the old grey man, and something slammed me back into the bed. I tried to get up several more times with the same result. Each time I was slammed back into the bed, a voice would repeat, "Put a seal on the door." Finally, I snapped to it's 3 AM and everything was normal. I must have been sleeping. It was a dream. No old grey man and my friend was fast asleep. So I start pacing around the room trying to decide how I feel about what had just happened. I glance over to my friend, her eyes are open, and she says, "You seen it?" I say, "Get in the car, I can't be here right now." We spend the next 4 hours sitting in a Walmart parking lot talking about the history of our experiences in that house and comparing to my own. Okay, my nerves are not on fire anymore, and we are heading back to the grandparents' home. We arrive and they are waiting for us inside. I tell them exactly what happened to me, and I get, "Yeah, that's strange. We usually do seal our doors with a prayer at night, but with all the excitement we just must have forgotten. All the children have mentioned stories of things, but we have never seen them. We are sorry you had to go through that." I'm really not sure what I seen or experienced that night, but when I tell people they get that look of skepticism. It's obvious they don't believe me. My conclusion is that the experience was indistinguishable from reality in the moment. I don't know what that means, but it changed the way I look at things. Just after high school, maybe 6 months or so after 9/11, I was a van driver who drove the Meals for Meals on Wheels to the place where they get packaged up and taken for home delivery. Anyway, the delivery van only had AM/FM radio, and I was listening to 92.5 FM when all of a sudden the station cuts out and a transmission that I can only describe as an American version of a numbers station began playing. It was seemingly random numbers followed by a long period of the same phrase repeated over and over again. The phrase was, "They took the crosstown bus," over and over again. None of the other drivers heard it, but man was it creepy to hear. Eventually the regular radio station came back on, and they never mentioned anything about it. This happened in October of 2005. Dates of the 9th, 11th, and 16th are repeated in various places across the internet. It was heard on many stations in the Northeast US. Broadcasters say it was a malfunction of the Amber Alert system, but it was several times over a 2-week span in different markets. Edit. First Silver Award. Thanks, stranger. This was 4 years ago. As I was walking on the sidewalk on a busy afternoon, I saw a suspicious boy/man about 18 years old. He was 10 meters away and walking what it looked like towards me. I kept my eyes on him despite the fact that he wasn't looking directly at me. His eyes were roaming, jumping from an object to an object. As we approached one another, half a meter away from each other, he takes out a knife and tries to stab me in my left side. He wasn't really fast, so I easily dodged it and immediately turned to see who is he, or if he is trying to stab me again. To my surprise, he continues walking, and after a couple of meters he stops, turns around, smiles, and gives me thumbs up. Then he continues walking in the opposite direction. Till this day I don't know who he was, what he wanted, and even my family doesn't believe me, because if someone wanted to stab you, you can stop him. You aren't experienced enough to dodge it like that and something of that kind. Edit. Thank you for the rewards. Those are my first ones, so I don't know what do they do. Thank you. The description of his behavior made me think maybe he was on drugs, but holy crap, that is terrifying. Thank you for watching Reddit. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more r/AskReddit videos. Share your stories in the comments section below.